guys, it's me, your friend Felissa Rose, Angela from Sleepaway Camp, and you're listening to Kendall Hates Horror! Yeah.
Warning. Some viewers may find the following footage deeply disturbing. Welcome to my world, bitch. Kendall hates horror.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
I'm so fucking scared right now.
Where we work specifically, it can just run on cruise control, right? And I was like, yeah, pretty much like the Blue Cruise, you know, that's the commercials where we just, you know, let go of the wheel. And then Kendall was like, yeah, just Jesus, take the wheel. I was like, well, I don't know about that because it's not a religious thing or anything because, you know, atheism or anything like that. I don't trust that Jesus isn't going to be like, Dude, I kind of just want to hang out with somebody. And I'm like, no, I have plans tomorrow. Like he just jerks the wheel over a bridge. And he's like, we're drinking wine tonight, bitch.
Yeah. We popping bottles.
We popping bottles.
Jesus, run over the hooker. LOL, no.
No.
And then once you guys get a buzz going, you're like, okay, Jesus.
Yeah.
I get it. You
but
wanted to hang
it's
out.
like, dude, I'm not going to heaven. You're an atheist. It's like, dude, I run this place. Let's be real.
But why me? Like, why'd you want to hang out with me today?
Because you're the first person I saw. Seem like a cool guy.
Well, I'm sorry that my friendship annoys you.
Yeah, if it was me, I'd get up there and just kind of give him the side eye and be like, slow day, huh? Okay.
Nothing better to do? No children that need AIDS?
Okay.
Oh, no, that wasn't me.
Yeah. No, that's staying in. No, that stays in because God gives cancer and AIDS to babies. Okay, so like that's exactly what it is.
Did you happen to break this tree over and it landed on Steve's car? It's just like, no, that wasn't me. It's like, I was in Africa giving AIDS to babies.
Yeah. Did you hear that there's this new disease going around that makes you forget 80s music? Yeah. Nobody knows the cure. I bought a 12-year-old whiskey. His mom was super pissed. And welcome to this week's episode of Kendall Hates Horror. I'm your host, Grant. I'm sitting across from our horror aficionado and man with the shiny balls, Evan.
Yeah. Yeah, big enough to drill you in the head.
Yeah. And my good time boy, Kendall.
Hello.
And we are joined by our very special guest. We've been waiting to do this episode with our special guest because this is one of his favorite horror movies. Has got a lot of good memories that go back with his family. Welcome to the table, our good friend Shane.
Hello, everybody.
I'm so excited for Shane to be here.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Shane has watched a few movies with us already because you watched Halloween with us. You watched Autopsy.
Because I love it.
Yeah, and you watched Autopsy Jane Doe. You thought it was a pretty good movie, right?
Yeah, that was the first time I saw it, and I really liked it. So.
Yeah, so he's definitely, and we want to bring him onto the show because he's also a big horror fan. He's a big, he likes horror almost as much as Evan does.
Yes, I was going to say, I'm not as big of a horror aficionado as Evan is.
Yeah.
Evan is the horror aficionado. I love horror. Always have ever since I was a kid when I wasn't allowed to watch it. I had to sneak down to my friend's apartment so I could watch it.
Yeah.
Because his grandma didn't care.
Yeah.
My mom did not like it.
Yeah. If you anybody who's ever met Shane's mom knows that she is not a horror person. Like she cannot do horror movies. So no.
So she's kind of like me.
She's actually worse than you when it comes to.
She is worse than you.
You can't describe.
How do you get worse than me?
You can't describe a horror movie in her presence.
We have 2 horror movie posters upstairs on the wall.
And they scare her.
Yeah. You can at least look at them.
They came over one time for a gaming day.
Yeah.
So they could check the new place out and everything. And I told her, I said, Mom, look what we put up on the wall just for you. That's just horrible.
Yeah.
No, it's horrifying.
It's so as much as you think you're a wimp and kind of a little girl about it, there are people that are worse.
But to be fair, that is a 80-year-old woman.
Yeah, but she's been like that.
Yeah, she's like 76.
Yeah, and she's been like that forever.
Ever since I was a kid.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Here, let me just give you a little thing right here.
Okay.
I used to have, when I lived on my own, I used to have my mom come over, and Fridays I would treat her. Hey, come over. We'll get you. She always loved her Route 44 drink from Sonic.
Yeah.
I'd give her that.
Yeah.
She'd come over and she'd watch a movie with me, just for her to get out of the house for a while. So she knows who Stephen King is. She does not like Stephen King. So
he doesn't either.
I absolutely love Stephen King. Always have, ever since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So one time I brought her over and I showed her a movie. I was like, I'm going to see if I can get her on this one. So we watched The Green Mile. Great movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
All the way to the end. She's crying, bawling, because so get to the end of the movie. She's like, I really love that. Thank you so much for letting me see that. I was like, you're most welcome. I was like, I bet you can never guess who wrote that. Don't tell me it's that horror guy you like. Sure enough, it was Stephen King. She got mad. She couldn't believe that Stephen King had anything to do with that movie.
And it ruined that movie for her.
Well, I mean, like Stephen King didn't just write horror books. He wrote Stand By Me.
Yeah, Stand By Me is an amazing movie.
The Body. He wrote Stand By Me. Stand By Me makes me cry every fucking time. But he did Shawshank. That's a Stephen King story.
Yep, not a horror movie.
Hearts in Atlantis. That's a Stephen King story. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
When are they going to turn his children's books into movies?
He was a failed children's writer.
Yeah,
that's why he started writing horror books.
Yeah.
Is because he didn't he wasn't successful at it.
Yeah,
he started writing horror books, and they realized it was like, man, this dude's fucked up.
Oh, but they're big now.
No,
I'll tell you.
I don't even know if they even made the light of day.
I'll tell you what. When the first Stephen King's children's novel movie comes out, we will change the name of this podcast to Stephen King Does Kids.
Yeah.
Wait, that's wrong. Terrible. That's a wrong. That will strike that. Yeah. Stephen King does not do kids.
No.
Well, at least we don't know. We don't know. What movie are we watching tonight?
We are watching Phantasm from 1979. The prog rock of horror movies.
Yeah. If you heard of it, if you don't like it, that means you just don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, this movie is like guerrilla made.
Yeah.
Don Coscarelli did everything.
Yeah. It was done on an estimated $300,000 budget.
They didn't have accountants, so they don't exactly know how much the budget was. They don't even know how much they made. It's either $22 million or $8 million. They're not for sure.
Well, according to IMDb, the U.S. and Canada gross was just shy of $12 million.
Yeah.
Either way,
exactly.
Whatever. That's three
different numbers that we just said.
Yeah, right in
there's
between.
There's three different numbers,
but
all of them made money.
It was a success.
It was a
big
very
success.
Yeah, which had such a success they made like 6 more.
Yeah, there's 6, which Don Coscarelli made all of them.
Yeah.
And Angus Scrimm is in every single one.
Every single one. Yeah, because
until he died.
Yeah, because Angus Scrimm just passed away in like 2016.
Yeah,
at the ripe old age of 89.
But most of the movies have the original cast in all of them. I mean, like except for the second one.
They did change.
Michael Baldwin plays Mike. He is absent for the second one. I can't remember why the reasoning was, but Reggie Bannister comes back and he's in every single one of the because he's a dear close personal friend of Don Coscarelli. That's why he's in the movie. He literally wrote that role for his friend Reggie. The entire character is based on him. He uses his real name.
Yeah, which is why in the movie Reggie Bannister plays Reggie Bannister.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a fake name.
Doesn't even have a fake name.
Because that's just him or whatever. But the entire cast, they came back for all of them. You know, so when you watch the film series as a whole, it's so like when you get to like that fourth one and they're driving off in that car. It's like, dude, it gives me goosebumps.
Oh yeah, the car's iconic.
Because I mean, that scene is just like, oh man, these guys have been doing this, and good. Like one of the last ones came out in like 2016. It was like Angus Scrimm's last movie.
Yeah, it was Phantasm 5 Ravager.
Yeah. It's just like, dude, it's like that's insane. You just don't see that.
Yeah,
especially a film series that spanned many decades,
and has managed to never get remade.
No.
I think there was some rumor going around in Hollywood that they were actually toying with the idea of remaking it, and I'm pretty sure Don.
Well, because he owns all the rights.
He was like, nah, we're not remaking these movies.
Yeah, because he owns every single bit of the rights to
and I'm pretty sure he said that now that Angus Scrimm has passed away, he's not going to make another one.
Because once you see the movie, you'll understand nobody could ever play the tall man except for Angus Scrimm.
Yeah,
he's so fucking iconic.
He's the tall man.
That's just what they call him.
It's kind of like the man in the yellow hat from Curious George.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's
like
exactly.
Who the fuck else could do the man in the yellow hat?
This is the hard hitting journalism we expect from Kendall.
Yeah, he's exactly the same as the man in the yellow hat.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Angus Scrimm just played the man in the yellow hat. Wow. Yeah, you can tell Kendall is the person at this table who has kids.
Yeah. I mean, I know who the man in the yellow hat is. I mean,
well, everybody knows who the man in the yellow hat is.
He's a fucking baller, dude.
Yeah.
He is a baller.
He raised a monkey. I like that you're not making fun of me for that, Evan. I appreciate that.
I'll make fun of you for it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Curious George. I mean, if it's good enough for Forrest Gump, it's good enough for me.
So Shane, tell me what the connection you have for this movie is. Why do you love this movie so much?
Well, this was about the time. I'm an old guy. I'm the oldest guy here.
Yeah,
so
he is.
Let everybody know. These are movies I actually saw when they came out. So, like I said, yep. So, like I said, when
did you see this in the theaters?
I didn't see this one.
This is when it was on 35 millimeter film.
They etch-a-sketched them.
When popcorn cost a nickel.
All right. Go ahead.
Sorry, Shane. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Fuck you.
Respect your elders.
Yeah.
But like I said, my mom, big against horror. And a friend of mine, we lived in an apartment complex. He lived on the bottom floor. We were in the middle floor. I'd sneak down his house and we'd watch horror movies. So this is one of my favorite 3 first horror movies that I saw, along with Motel Hell.
Oh, Motel Hell rules.
Yeah.
Love that movie. It's fantastic.
We're going to get there. Just watched that one the other day.
And the original Friday the 13th. Of course, I mean, there are other Friday the 13th that are better.
Most of them.
Me and Evan agree with that.
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
But it was good for, back then. So
Yeah.
But anyway, eventually, it was one of the movies I was able to get my dad to watch with me. My dad and we used to stay up on the weekends and watch horror movies when they come on. Now, my dad worked in aircraft, so he was pretty well off. And the apartment complex we lived in, okay, so this is how old I am. The apartment complex we lived in, there was only our family and another family that actually got cable when cable first came out. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
So, the
I
cable box.
I thought you just got cable.
Yeah, the cable box
right into
was
the
just
vault.
a black box.
I remember the black box cable box.
I do remember that, yeah.
With the channel changer. So if you wanted to change the channel, you had to get up off your ass, walk up to the TV, and turn the channel on the box.
Let's not go crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, no way.
I remember. Yeah,
I grew up with the bunny ears with the aluminum foil on
did
them.
that too. Yeah.
And cable was not a thing for us.
It was a big fucking deal when Fox became a thing, and we had 4 channels to choose from instead of just the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think we always had cable.
Yeah.
So Shane, back to your story.
No, but anyway, so it was one of the first horror movies I got my dad to watch with me. Like I said, when we were actually had cable, and we would stay up on the weekends since he would be off work and we were out of school, and me and him would just stay up and watch like King Kong, Godzilla movies, all kinds of stuff. So I actually got him to watch Phantasm. He loved it too. The moral of the story, though, for this one is that for all the rest of my childhood years, all the way up until I was a teenager, if any time I was in my bedroom and my dad needed me, he wouldn't say, "Hey, come here, Shane." All he would go was, "Boy."
You're going to understand the reference.
And you'll understand that reference
Before
when
the
you
end
watch
of
the
tonight.
movie.
Yeah, before the end of the night.
So it was a big connection for me because of the fact that
Boy.
Me and Shane, when we first started talking and we talked about Phantasm, that was what we used to say all the time. We would just go, "Boy."
so that had a very young, deep connection for me, or
Yeah.
whatever, especially to have that with my dad and stuff. So
Because that was when I knew me and Shane were going to be friends, is because I asked him about Phantasm, and he was like one of the only people that I knew that had actually seen that movie. I don't fucking like you that much. and then fucking Lord of Darkness. When you were like, "Oh, I love Lord of Darkness," I was like, "Fuck yeah, that movie rules."
Yeah. That's the one with is that the one with Alice
Alice
Cooper?
Cooper,
Yeah, Alice Cooper,
yeah. Fucking Carpenter, fucking
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness.
Prince of
Yeah,
Darkness.
I'm sorry, I had Lord of Illusions in my head too.
Yeah, which is a Clive Barker movie.
Yeah, but like I want to fucking suck John Carpenter's dick.
Prince of Darkness.
And he had the audacity to ask me. He's like, when you put the description of the video up, why did you put the thing about me wanted to kiss John Carpenter? I was like, well, I couldn't put you wanted to fuck John Carpenter on there, so I put kiss instead because you do. And he's like, yeah, that's fair.
I'm right there with Evan on John Carpenter.
Yeah,
I
fucking
always
so-
loved John Carpenter ever since I was a kid. Not only for
So-
Halloween, but one of my other favorite absolute movies of all time is Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, Escape from New York.
I mean-
I like Escape from LA, but Escape from New York is definitely the better of the two.
Well, I mean, besides The Thing, which is like one of my favorite horror movies of all time, I mean, besides that, one of my favorite movies just in general is They Live.
They Live is great.
I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Because it combined two of my loves,
Yeah.
horror and wrestling.
Well, that's okay.
Because Roddy Piper's in it.
Yeah. Speaking of dicks, we have to address something in the room.
Oh.
You're looking right at me. Are
Well,
you
'cause
going to
I
ask
don't-
me something about my dick?
No, we've already talked about your dick and how, we're going to talk about this in a couple weeks when we have our double feature on. So did Evan tell you the story?
Yes, I did.
Oh, yes, he did.
We have to tell the audience the story because I almost pissed myself laughing so hard.
Usually me and Grant on Mondays, we watch wrestling. That's like, we love wrestling. But like, we're watching wrestling, and at the same time, I'm a big Los Angeles Rams fan. So they're my favorite football team. And at the time that we were watching wrestling, their playoff game was happening. They were playing the Minnesota Vikings. And I kept looking at my phone. I'm like, oh my God, they're up this much.
They sacked Darnold 6 times.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, they sacked Sam Darnold like 6 times, and fucking Matthew Stafford had 0 sacks, or he hasn't been sacked once. And we were talking about, because Sam Darnold, he's fine. he's a fine quarterback, but he makes a lot of dumb decisions. And I was like, hey, he just doesn't throw the ball away. He doesn't like check it down to his running back. And then I decided that I was going to pantomime what that was. And mind you, when I'm at home, I'm usually wearing, I have a t-shirt, some like basketball shorts. That's usually what my lounging attire is. And so I stood up and I was like, yeah, he doesn't throw the ball away. And then my pants just fell down. and then after they fell down, I said, oh, my pants fell down.
Which I think is what I actually think that's what popped me. I laughed for 5 minutes straight. Drax came over to check on me to make sure that I was okay. Drax is my dog. He came over to check on me to make sure I was okay. He's like, so was it the pants falling down, or was it the fact that I said, oops, my pant fell down? And I was like, and every time he said, oops, my pant fell down, I was like, I started laughing again. I could not stop laughing.
And then I was trying to pantomime Matthew Stafford, and I ended up pantomiming Sam Darnold.
Which got me again.
Because my pants fell down, I threw an interception, and I got sacked. With my pants around my ankles.
Which popped me again. I was, oh my God.
Dude, I was laughing so hard I was sweating.
I was laughing so my abs, which I didn't know existed, were aching. Were so.
Every time I
had a pretty good core workout.
Oh my God, it was so good.
When I told you, I said, "Oops, my pants fell down." You kept laughing, and then I told Shane that, and he was laughing really hard because I said, "Oops, my pants fell down."
The only way it could have been better is if he'd done the Midwestern. Oh, my pants fell down.
Oh, my pants fall down.
Yeah, instead of saying "oops," saying "oh." The old, the Midwest scooch around you. Oh, let me get my patch.
Yeah, but it was just dry, just like, oops, my pants fell down.
It was so fucking. Oh my God! All right, now that we have thoroughly entertained and disgusted our audience for making us think about Evan with his pants down around his ankles. So let's get back to the movie.
Welcome to Kendall's Fun Fast.
All right. So this movie is Phantasm. I don't know if you guys know this, but the 1997 computer game Blood paid homage to the film in the first level of the first episode, which takes place in the Morningside Mortuary.
Oh, that's neat.
I did not know that. Honestly, I don't even remember.
I've never heard of that game.
Yeah. All you video gamers out there, that is a fun fact for you.
That's really cool.
I'm a video gamer, and I didn't know that.
So Don Coscarelli won the Special Jury Award in '79 at the Alvarez Fantastic Film Festival, which is alliteration, I like that, and was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Horror Film.
Which is Saturn Awards usually for like sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like Jennifer Lopez won Best Actress for Anaconda.
Yeah.
So
this movie was also inspired by a dream Coscarelli had.
Do you know this one?
Where he was chased down marble corridors by a giant sphere.
That's where he came up with the entire idea, which I think is pretty fucking neat.
Yeah.
If it's that easy, I got some great movies out there. Go ahead.
Oh.
I was gonna say this movie, because a lot of the scenes are filmed in like this mausoleum that's like bright white. There's a lot of lights being used in this movie. It's a lot brighter than some of the other horror movies you've already watched.
Well, when this movie was originally filmed, it was like 2.5 hours long. When they first showed it to test audiences, and they were like, "Fuck this movie's too long, bro."
Yeah.
So when Don Coscarelli, he edited the entire movie himself because he's a fucking independent filmmaker. It's what Kevin Smith edits his own movies all the time.
Yeah.
But he basically cut it down. He cut it down to where it was like about 88 minutes, which what it is now. And so the scenes in that movie are so dreamlike, and that was only because of the way he edited the movie. So this movie gets its feel because of the fact that the audience,
it's like a dream.
Yeah, the audiences were like, "Yeah, it's too fucking long." So when he cut it, it gets this. It becomes what it becomes, which I think is pretty fucking neat.
Huh.
Yeah.
Even though based in Oregon, this movie is.
Is it Oregon or Oregon?
Oregon?
No, it's Oregon.
Okay. The movie was actually filmed in, you guessed it, California.
Of course it was.
It's almost like Hollywood is there.
Well, it's all they used to film nowadays until fucking Rick Snyder took over, and they used to film all the movies in Michigan because of the fucking tax credit.
Yeah,
which is why everything's filmed in Georgia.
That's why everything's filmed in Georgia now. Yeah.
So apparently, there's some dwarves in this movie.
Yes.
I think it's I think the appropriate nomenclature, dude, is little people.
Okay.
No, they're called dwarves.
I read it.
Movie.
I read it just like it was wrote. Anyway, sorry if I offended anyone.
They're little Jawas.
They were actually played by children, not little people.
Good. So they weren't little people.
A small person.
They were small. They were not developed people.
Oh, this one. This
You know-
one's great.
You know, with the hands.
With the hands.
This one's great. This one's great. All of the filming equipment in this movie was rented by Coscarelli and always on Fridays. So he could use it all weekend and return it on Monday.
That's awesome.
So anything you see, all the film was done on a Saturday or a Sunday, so he could fucking return that shit. And
Well, because if you
wouldn't-
rented it on Monday, it'd have to be back on Tuesday, or he'd
Yeah.
pay it for a second day. But if you
Yeah.
rent it on Friday, it was like when we
Yeah.
used to rent movies, you rent them on Friday night because you got till Monday.
well, it's like renting a boom lift or something. Yeah, like a tool.
Yeah.
Like we did the same shit.
Have you met us? At
Oh,
Elsa?
yeah,
We've
sorry.
Yeah, what the,
never.
what the fuck is a boom lift?
I know what a boom lift is. I've just never rented one because I'm not handy like Kendall is.
Like for a microphone?
You know what I mean.
Kind of, yeah. It's a boom lift is one of the things that has the arms, with the hands.
Like a scissor lift.
Scissor lift, yeah.
Like a
yeah.
Say
fucking-
that. Didn't just
No.
fucking
But
say
a
that.
boom lift is different than a scissor lift. A boom lift is one that has the basket on the little arm and it goes up and down. It's like what the phone company used to.
A cherry picker.
Yes.
Okay, a
just-
cherry picker.
Yes.
Just fucking say that.
I'm sorry.
Fucking goddamn with your fucking stupid bullshit macho ass talking.
Boom lift is the actual word, and cherry picker is the nickname.
Well, then that's what everybody fucking knows it for. Call it by a fucking nickname.
Why are you so offended?
I don't know.
He's so aggressive tonight.
I'm old. I'm tired, and I work with children.
Fuck you. Angus,
That was sorry.
It was a CM Punk reference.
It was a wrestling reference. It's funny right here.
Yeah, we got it.
Right in this.
I thought that was a
general
direct blast at me.
area. No.
No, we got it. This these two sides didn't.
I'm tired. I'm old.
And I work with
I
fucking
hurt, and I work with fucking children.
Where's my muffin?
This movie was rated X at first, but
Yeah.
was downgraded to R.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, there's some tits in it.
Well, it was X because of I can't remember. There's a
graphic
scene
violence.
where a guy pees himself,
Yes, that does happen.
And
that was cut. I
and
believe.
that was the defining factor for the
Yeah, I
people
think
that rated it.
I think we talked about that, how like dumb that was, because there's violence in it, but also there's nudity in it.
Yeah, so Coscarelli called one of his buddies and was like, "Can you talk to them?" And he did, and he got it downgraded to R.
Can you talk to these guys?
That's fucking ridiculous.
He peed his pants.
Well,
Who
no,
cares?
So my last fun fact: Angus Scrimm was most likely very uncomfortable during the shooting of the movie because to appear taller, he wore suits that were several sizes too small.
Yep.
Okay.
And boots that added 3 inches, which made him 6'7" tall.
Okay, so yeah, I had gone and did a little bit of research beforehand, and I was looking at it, and I was like, "Wow, it just doesn't seem like Angus Scrimm is all that tall. He's only like 6'4". Now, again, that's
I
way
actually
taller
didn't know
than me.
he wore lifts. I thought they just filmed him to make him look taller.
Yeah. 6'4" is tall to me because I'm only 5'10", and
Yeah.
that towers over you, little scrumptious motherfucker over
I'm
there.
fun size.
Yeah.
Travel
I'm
size.
gonna stick you in my pocket.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd live in there.
Yeah.
As far as newbies, just like me, that are watching this and want to get into horror, this is a moderately scary movie. So I'm not worried too bad.
This is like your favorite director's, your favorite horror director's favorite horror movie. You
We
know?
say that line kind of a lot, don't we?
Yeah, but I mean, this one's like just fucking. Yeah, there are certain entry level ones that you get, like Halloween and Friday the 13th. When you're getting a Phantasm, you're deep in it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Kendall. You're going deep tonight.
Yeah, but I figure we could maybe do a new thing and start do like a little light synopsis, spoiler free.
Yep.
And that way, if anybody's never seen the movie, it doesn't give anything away, but also kind of gets you prepared.
It primes you for the movie.
Primes you for the movie.
So you can listen to this part of the podcast and decide whether or not you actually want to watch the movie, or if it's just like, fuck this movie.
Fuck this movie.
I think it sounds stupid.
But listen to the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
100% listen, or download it, play it in the background while we're
So this movie, the residents of a small town began dying under strange circumstances, leading a young man named Mike, played by a Michael Baldwin, to investigate. And
hilarity ensues.
Him, and then also him. He's trying. Basically, the movie. He's trying to convince his brother Jody that strange things are going on at the mortuary, which also includes the great Reggie Bannister. And that's Phantasm.
Yeah,
I mean that's what you're in for.
Yeah.
Angus Scrimm rules in this movie.
Reggie Bannister rules in this movie.
Well,
he's way cooler in the farther movie. In the
Reggie Bannister is one of my favorite horror heroes. Drives an ice cream truck, plays guitar,
has a super cool fucking. Was that what is that? Is it a Charger?
No, that's not his car. That's Jody's car.
Jody. Well, I know.
Yeah.
It's a very iconic car.
Car kicks ass.
Yeah,
kicks ass.
Reggie literally drives an ice cream truck.
Yeah. I guess it's in the later movies that he inherits that car.
Yeah, but that the Charger, I think it's a Charger, that's Jody's car, and that car's fucking sweet.
Yeah,
it's so badass. But yeah, that's what we're getting ready to watch. Are you ready?
I'm shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so if you are planning on watch the movie along with us, this is where you'll pause the podcast, go watch the movie, and come back and join us. If you've already seen the movie and you just want to join us for the breakdown of the movie, just stick past the musical interlude, and we'll see you then.
And we're back.
So, Kendall, you've seen Phantasm.
Mm-hmm.
You had a very confused look on your face.
Yeah, I'm still confused.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. I just don't get it.
Shane, would that be a fair assessment? The first time you watched it, did you get it? I mean,
it left you going, what the fuck?
Yeah, crack open the history book, go into the Wayback Machine to your childhood and try to remember what your feeling was when the movie ended. Did you go, Dad, I don't get it?
Well, no, not being that young. I was just more like intrigued by the whole movie itself. It was different than a lot of the other movies I'd seen. Like I said, and I was just getting into the horror genre. For me, it was just, I mean, you watch it now and it's like, just where there's so much CGI and the way special effects are now or whatever, and people are just like, oh, that's not very good, but you have to remember back then or whatever. Back then, when it originally had come out like that or whatever, it was just like, whoa, this is fucking awesome.
Shane, what do you think about the effects of Phantasm? How do you feel about that?
Like I said, I was alive and watched it when it first came out. So back then, the effects were fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the spears were awesome and amazing.
Yeah.
Something that you were just like, whoa, used as like a killer weapon.
Those things do not obey the laws of physics.
Yeah, but did you understand that? I watched the movie just now, and I'm like, okay, so they're in this thing, they're in the mansion. And they're in the marble room, whatever. And
mausoleum.
Then all of a sudden, mausoleum, thank you. And then all of a sudden, here we got sphere balls flying at people, and it's like, what the fuck is that? I don't know. I feel like I need this broke down completely for me to even almost understand it.
Well, fortunately that's what we're here for.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're gonna break this shit down like.
Yeah, break it the fuck down.
Break it down.
Well, see, that's the thing that they tell you toward the end of the movie when they're in the white room.
They explain a lot of stuff in that last.
And he looks down in there. He sees that it's a different dimension or it's a different planet or whatever you might want to refer to.
When Mike
so you don't know what
said
all kind of stuff they have there.
Yeah, because when they go into the room with the barrels and stuff like that, the barrels obviously they have the dwarves in them. That's what they figure out. Well, they are being transported to the other dimension because he's using them as slaves.
Yeah.
Because that's where the tall man is from. It's from where those little beams were there with the tuning forks that Mike went through. That's where the tall man is from. He's not of this world.
Think of it as a gate. Think of it as a doorway that leads to his realm.
Yeah, and he's basically...
And that's what that was.
And he's taking these either dead bodies or killing bodies to turn them into the dwarves to use as slaves.
Yeah.
And like the kid said, Michael said, they have to be shrunk down because of the gravity of the other place.
Yeah.
So,
because if you notice, when Mike went in there, he was like floating up and stuff like that. That's why Jody was able to grab him by his belt and pull him back through. Mm-hmm. And it's like hot because he was like he was on fire.
Yeah, they were patting him off.
Yeah. It's just a different dimension, but that's where the tall man's from. That's why the tall man can do these crazy ass things that not a normal person can do. Like carrying
picking up the coffin by himself and putting it in the back of the hearse.
Yeah.
Oh, so the body was in there.
Yeah. Well,
he just did that all on his own.
Yes.
Well, because if you we'll talk about it. Do you want to just get in? Well,
yeah,
we can
we'll
just get into it, and then we can kind of talk about the certain things. So we open on the Morningside Cemetery, which is where most of this film takes place, with the exception of fucking Mike and Jody's house.
Yeah, and then there's a streets a scene where
and at the bar.
Yeah, but usually it's mainly like these two places that we
they have like 4 locations grand total in the whole movie.
But we find a young couple or whatever that are getting fucking busy.
Doing taxes.
Yeah, doing taxes. It is that time of the season.
Yeah.
Which with the way their legs were.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense.
It didn't make sense.
Because her legs are pointing straight out, but she's straddling him.
Yeah, right.
Kind of zoom in on this woman, and she's looking down at Tommy, and then all of a sudden, she pulls out a fucking knife. Because her face is she has this weird fucking face that she's just staring at him. When she pulls out this cool fucking dagger and fucking stabs him right in the fucking stomach with it, and then it kind of just cuts back, and then it's fucking the tall man.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the scene. And then
I'm like, what? She was fucking the tall man, or he was fucking the tall man the whole time?
I don't know if he was actually getting down, or if he made him think that, and then he killed him, because obviously he's killing him for a reason. We find that out later.
So I was just confused.
Yeah, you were confused right off the bat.
Off the bat.
That first scene happened, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
Well, this movie's like a fucking fever dream.
Yeah,
it's just
it is a dream though.
It's like being on fucking shrooms the whole time. It's just the craziest. The cuts in this movie are so jarring. The edits in this movie are so crazy. I'm just like, what the fuck? But then the next scene is we meet Jody and the fucking greatest man that's ever existed, Reggie Bannister, with his bald head and his ponytail.
Yeah. Well, I would say business up front, but it looks like business closed and the party is still just happening in the back.
Yeah, that's kind of that's like the vibe of.
And
Reggie.
then you find out later he's an ice cream man, and you're like, oh yeah, for sure.
Jody and Reggie, and we kind of figure out that they were buddies with Tommy, and we're at Tommy's funeral.
Yeah,
because they're kind of like, oh man, this is the end of the trio, blah blah blah, and then we meet Mike. He shows up on his fucking sweet-ass dirt bike.
Yeah, man.
With his fucking beautiful hair fucking flowing in the wind.
Such 70s hair. Shane, did you have hair like that?
Yes, I did.
I mean, Mike and Jody have, the ultimate, differentiation of 70s hair.
Yeah.
He has, the fucking flowing, curling up. And then Jody has the boom on the brush.
Yeah.
The brush right on the mop right on the top.
I was the only boy in my second grade class that had a perm. My mother was hanging.
So you had a perm before
As in-
perms were cool.
As in a permanent?
It's cool
Now,
nowadays.
to be fair,
So you looked like Marsha Clark in the OJ trial.
yep. only it was longer in the back. My mother was at the time going through beauty school, and she used me for her guinea pig.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, I had a bowl cut, but I didn't have a perm.
Yeah.
Like,
Fortunately, all the photographic evidence of that has been
so you look like
lost to time.
You look like Bob from that '70s show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
It was not good.
yeah.
That's
And
pretty awesome, though.
So we're
I
getting.
need to see a picture.
They don't exist anymore. I think they were only in my baby book, and my parents probably sold it for drugs.
Yeah, and so we're getting. We're getting Mike like
Fuck you, Dad.
fucking rolling around on his dirt bike, and then we're getting like these cuts between him and like Jody and the mausoleum, which that mausoleum is fucking sweet.
It's a very
Love the mausoleum.
It's a very cool looking, like,
It's all fucking marble and shit. These cuts between like Mike on his fucking sweet ass dirt bike and like Jody in that sweet ass mausoleum, all marble and shit like that. We start to kind of like piece together like their backstory about like because Jody walks up to one of the, I don't know, like a tomb or what the fuck would they call those things? I guess
A headstone.
Well, no, it's like inside the mausoleum. What I mean, it has
A crypt.
Is that what you would call it?
A crypt, yeah.
But he sees one of them says because what's their name? Pearson, I believe.
yes,
Yeah, and so it says Jody Pearson Senior, which we not a fucking complete genius needs to figure out that that's his dad.
yeah.
He's a junior.
Yeah, right.
You're not a junior, are you?
No, not at all.
It's so weird. Like your dad and all of your brothers have K names.
Yep. But we're not juniors.
No.
But we all start with kin something.
Well, not Kyle.
Well, fuck him.
And not Otis.
Yeah, fuck Otis too.
Otis wasn't even important enough to have a K name.
No.
Unless his name is Canotis.
Yeah.
Well, his actual name is Cody with a C, and fuck that.
Oh,
And
okay.
fuck him.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we're not going to get into my brothers here.
Yeah, apparently not.
The only one I like is he looks like me.
That's the only reason I like him, because he looks like me.
Yeah. I like me, and I like you because you look like me. Because I think this world should have more me in it.
Yeah, and then we kind of get like to the end of the funeral, and we see like Jody and Reggie and a bunch of other fucking assholes like taking the casket.
Yeah, there's like 6 or 8. It's
Yeah, and you denoted you said something about the flowers.
Yeah, they look like shit.
But why do you think they look? What gives you the?
My wife runs she has her own floral business, so I tend to look at a lot of floral arrangement flowers, and she does a very, very, very good job. And no, I'm just saying.
No, she said that.
She's really good.
He said that during the movie. I was like, dude, she's not here.
Yeah,
Well,
she doesn't need to be here. She's really good.
Why don't you plug her? What's her business called?
JK Custom Creations.
There it is, JK Custom Creations for all of your funeral needs. Not a sponsor,
Yeah.
just cool.
Not a sponsor, just cool.
Yeah,
but
JK.
She does very.
JK.
Those are our initials, goddamn.
I know, we get it. It's clever.
It's not just kidding.
Yeah, JK LOL.
But she does a really good job, and those flowers were dog shit.
Well, I'm pretty sure they were fake because if they used real ones and they needed to reshoot the scene, they would have to buy more flowers, and they ain't got money for that.
Oh no, I'm saying even the ones she does that are like the wax flowers or whatever, really good.
I think Kendall just didn't like them because he said the way the color arrangements were.
Yeah,
Not
It was very not funeral like. It was very pastel colors, like it was like Easter
Maybe they
colors.
just wanted to be fucking happy. Like this is a pretty grim situation.
He said it was a funeral, not a celebration of life.
Yeah, but hey, let's make
There
it.
are differences between the two.
Let's make it festive.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I want you guys to have.
Just decorate
Fuck
mine.
it, it's Mardi Gras down in
Decorate
there.
mine with Christmas lights. Fuck it. Like
Hey, I'm down for that. But don't do flowers if you're going to do flowers. Do Christmas lights. Anyway, this ain't a Christmas lights podcast. Anyway.
So I would assume, so they set the casket down. I would assume they were just, it was like a normal, like taking it to the cemetery.
Yeah,
and
like
then,
pallbearers.
And then they're going to they're going to lower it later. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes people like watching it.
Yeah, because they like to throw the dirt on top.
Yeah.
It depends on your belief. Some people believe in waiting until the casket goes all the way down.
Some people they actually will take like one of the shovels and pour dirt on them.
Right.
And in some belief systems, they just once they finish talking, they all fuck off, and the guy, the funeral arranger, will lower it himself.
Yeah. But and then when everybody leaves, Mike is still fucking leering like a fucking weirdo.
This kid is like a voyeur. Like
see, the whole thing about this movie is it's like an allegory for like grief.
Yeah,
it's like it's dealing with grief. I mean, that goes all the way to like the end of the movie. You know, that's what it's kind of denoting and stuff like that. And it's how this kid is dealing with this grief, because he talks about like, well, we'll get to that. But like we see the tall man like just fucking grab one of the casket that Tommy's supposed to be in, and he picks it up with like one arm.
Yeah.
And just throws it in the hearse.
Yeah.
Because Kendall had a good reaction.
And
to
I
that
was
one.
like, there's...
What the fuck? How'd he do that?
There's not a person in there.
There was.
But I guess there was.
Yeah. He was waiting for everybody to leave.
I'm so confused.
He was, basically, he was waiting for everybody to leave so he could take the body and make it into one of his dwarves.
I get that. But, anyway, keep going.
You're not an idiot.
Yeah, well,
I told
I'm just
you.
trying to save myself from sounding like too much of an idiot.
And then we get Mike.
Don't talk about him like that.
And then we get
fucking love him.
And then we get Mike like walking down the street, and we get that fucking sweet ass score. This is Mike going to see the fortune teller, and we get this. I don't know. I can't remember if they even named the girl, but it was girl. Like,
no, she's not. She does not have a name in the credits.
Yeah, and then her grandmother is like a fortune teller, and so he's kind of like, he's basically like, it's a little bit of exposition, but it's kind of like getting you up to speed on the relationship with Mike and Jody, where like their parents had died like a year or two before,
something like that.
Then Jody has came back to be like Mike's guardian, and Jody doesn't really want to, because it's kind of,
well, because it's the whole thing. Jody is old enough; he's out of the house. He's trying to do his own thing.
He's like 24.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to be able to do whatever he wants to do. You know, he's got that sweet fucking car that he can use to cruise up and down the West Coast. Like, he wants to be able to do that, but, oh, shit, parents died, and I have a 13-year-old brother. I got to go back home and take care of him. There's,
like, these flashbacks where like, Mike is like, well, I think Jody wants to leave, and I don't know what I'm going to do if he
says he wants to leave again, which implies that Jody only came back because of Mike.
Yeah, and that's the only reason he's there, is because he had to. And he's kind of talking to one of his buddies. He's like, I mean, he's 13. I was thinking I was probably just going to hand him off to one of my aunts.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And, of course, Mike hears him and stuff. And he's talking about, he's like, he won't, like, leave me alone. Like, he follows me everywhere I go.
Yeah. But to be fair to Mike, Jody is, like, the last connection that he has to his parents. Like, he's the last actual, like, yeah, sure, he has an aunt or whatever, but, like...
Yeah, but I mean, Jody's his brother.
It's been Mike, Mom, Dad, and Jody throughout the entirety of Mike's life.
Yeah,
like, he's the last living relative.
Yeah, and then also while Mike is talking to her, he like tells her about when he saw the tall man and stuff like that, which we again see him loading the coffin in the hearse, and it's kind of just a replay of that same scene. And then the fortune teller, she doesn't speak the entire time. She's basically, her granddaughter is listening to her, and then she's reiterating what she wants to say to Mike.
It's almost supposed to. I felt like that whole scene was supposed to be implying that Grandma's psychic and she can communicate through the granddaughter.
Yeah, and then
why do they have those star tattoos? Just to be weird?
They never fucking explain.
Yeah,
it.
they just.
They have dead homies.
I feel like there was scenes in this movie that
Pour one out for the homies.
the original cut has to have so many other scenes that just
Because there's an
explain shit.
hour that ended up on an hour of this movie ended up on the floor, and it probably explains a lot more. But since we don't get it,
There's a lot of character stuff from what I read. There's a lot of character stuff that got cut. And that's why the movie has like these rapid fucking edits.
Yeah.
That just sometimes they're like, what? Like that doesn't make any sense. But also I think it adds to this movie.
Well, and to a guy like me,
Yeah.
it confused the fuck out of me.
What
I'm
kind of
just gonna
guy?
say. Oh, you know, I'm that kind of guy.
What kind of guy are you?
You know, like just kind of fucking stupid.
No,
I told you,
it's
don't
not.
make me come over and kiss you on the
Yeah,
lips.
It's not that. It's just the movie. The movie takes a couple of watches to be like, oh.
That's exactly what I said after the movie was over.
Do you feel that way, Shane? How many times have you seen this movie?
Yeah.
This movie?
You might as well ask him how many times.
Probably about 40 or 50.
Yeah.
No
A
shit.
lot. Yeah.
It took me a few watches to get. I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah,
now.
it really
Like,
does.
Where I'm like, oh, like the first time I watched it, I was like, that movie's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah,
and then the
dude.
second time I watched it, I was like, it's still kind of weird, but I kind of get what they're saying. Then like the third time I watched it, I was like, oh, I get what this movie is.
Okay, the first time I saw it, I mean, again, I was very, very young. It's probably sometime in the mid '80s. I saw it. I thought it was boring as shit. Of course, I'm a kid, so like I didn't see it again until I was a teenager, and I was like, okay, it's not boring, it's just fucking weird. And then I saw it again, and I was like, it's still weird, but I get it. And then I saw it again, and I was like, oh, now that I'm getting older and smarter, I figured it out. So yeah, it really does take a couple of times to watch
it takes a few times of watching to really understand what it is. But I mean,
or you have to have a few friends that can sit around and explain it to you.
yeah, I mean, like what we're doing now.
I appreciate that.
and then she the granddaughter tells Mike, it's like, hey, to put your hand in the box, and he's like, and
Kendall was like, nope.
it was like, nope,
Nah.
yeah, and then a box just fucking appears on the goddamn table.
Well, she's a lady with little beady glasses and shit, and she's telling me to put my fucking hand in a box.
And she's
I'm
not
like,
talking.
No,
Yeah, no, and the candles and shit. I'm
and then
like,
he
no.
and then he just does it.
No.
He's
And
like,
then he-
well, okay.
And after he puts his hand in the box, has this whole crazy ass experience and shit, and he doesn't get anything out of it. He still pays her.
Well, he does get something out of it, but you don't find that out till later.
Yeah, I don't understand what he got out of it.
It comes back.
I guess I do get it.
Yeah.
I guess I do.
Because he puts his hand in the box and he's like he can't remove his hand from the box. He's like fucking take this off. It fucking hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically she's like let the fear go away. Let the fear go away. And then when he finally does, he's able to take his hand out and he's like, that fucking hurt. And she's like, it was all in your mind. It's like it was all your fear.
Because then the box is gone.
Yeah, because then the box disappears.
So that's a kind of a segue to his grief.
It's pretty much this entire fucking movie.
Yeah,
That scene right there tells you everything you need to know about this movie.
Yeah.
And when I watched it, like when I finally got it, I was like, oh, this scene's really important.
Yeah.
And I remember like the first time I watched it, I was like, fuck, this is so boring. Why are we doing this? But when you watch it that like a few times, you're like, oh, this scene's really important.
Yeah, it comes in handy.
Yeah, and then when you when you watch it that third or fourth time, you're like, oh, I get why they do these scenes. All these scenes make sense now. This movie is pretty deep. It just you gotta really just it's definitely a movie you have to pay attention to all the little details, all the little the script for like a guy who done like I think one other movie, Don Coscarelli. It's a pretty good script. Dialogue is fine. But it's also like
I thought the dialogue was pretty cheesy at some times. It was mostly, but I think it
it's
also
the delivery because of the fact that all of these people are amateurs.
Yeah, they're not actors.
None of these people are actors. Like I mean, I think Reggie, he's just a buddy.
Yeah, he's just some guy. He's just a guy that grew up like 3 doors down from the director.
Yeah, that's why he's in this movie. Like, and then the actor that plays Jody, the actor that plays Mike, Mike's probably Mike and like Angus Scrimm are probably like the best actors in this movie. I think Mike does some pretty good work, but like, and then
for as young as he is,
because Don Coscarelli was like this movie like connected with younger like boys.
Well, the hero of the story is the 13-year-old boy. So, if you watch like The Goonies, The Explorers, shit like that growing up, then
he said he didn't expect that to happen. He was like, I didn't expect a bunch of like teen boys to really connect with this movie, and that's what happened. Is because they're like their hero is a kid that's the same age as them.
Yeah,
that may be going through stuff that maybe they're going through. You know. You know, yeah, this movie seems weird and like kind of cheesy and like, you know, like fringe 70s, 80s type of stuff. But it's pretty fucking deep. It's a good script. Like, I'll defend this fucking script. The script is fucking great. Yeah, and then we have this like kind of weird. The one scene it's cool looking and all, but I don't fucking really get it. Is like they have this sequence. Well, one of the scenes that I think is strange too, which is like the weird sequence of Reggie and Jody like playing guitar. I feel like Don Coscarelli just put that in there just because Reggie Bannister's really good at guitar.
Yeah,
yeah.
They knew how to play it.
Because if you go meet Reggie at a con, he hands you like he'll give you a CD with any autograph that it's one of his albums that he's made. It's really good. He's a really good, you know, singer, and because the song that they were singing in that, he wrote that.
Yeah, the song that Jody and him were playing out on the porch.
Yeah.
That was a song.
He taught the actor that plays Jody. He taught him to play guitar just for that scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's fucking killing it on that acoustic, man. He's fucking just destroying that thing. But it's a weird scene. I think it was literally just thrown in as like a favor, like, hey, I know how to play guitar.
I don't know about you, but I'm something of a guitar player myself. So can we do that? And Don's like, fucking
and then after that, there's a weird scene with like where like Mike is walking down the street. And it's like daylight. Reggie is. I don't know if this was real or if this was like a dream sequence, because it's such a weird scene. The tall man across the street, and he's walking down the street, and you can hear every one of his footsteps,
every single one
on concrete.
And he's making some very like exaggeratedly long strides.
And then there's this. He gets like right in front of. He gets like right across the street. This weird sequence with like where Mike's on like the street, walking down the street
with the rubber chicken hanging from the payphone. That
I don't know if it's supposed to be a dream sequence or it's supposed to be real. I don't get it.
I think it was supposed to be kind of ambiguous.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think it works because there are times where I'm like, oh, this is real, and then other times I'm like, nah, this ain't. Because then you see like the tall man, he's walking down the street. Very exaggerated, like, you know, and you can hear every single one of his footsteps on concrete.
Yeah, he's making really long strides. It kind of gives you that uncomfortable feeling, like, is he running or is he just is this just how he walks or something along those lines?
Or is he a horse?
We did talk about the girl from the beginning.
Is he a centaur?
Yeah, who could definitely eat an apple through a fence.
Yeah, she definitely builds dams on her weekends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, she had an overbite.
Sure. yeah. Kendall made that comment. She's like, wow, she's got a hell of an overbite.
Yeah, well, I mean, you get these in you.
Yeah.
You'll do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you have this like sequence, like when the tall man's he gets like, because like Reggie's ice cream truck is right across the street. And the tall man is like right by the ice cream truck, and he opens up the fucking freezer thing, and then it's just smoke,
fog,
just everywhere. I'm like, okay,
yeah.
Was this a fucking shampoo commercial?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Like he's gonna fucking,
because he stops
like,
and he goes,
he's gonna turn to the camera and go, maybe it's Maybelline.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and he does turn.
Yes.
He does turn to the.
Yes.
He does turn to the camera, and he kind of does this like thing where he just like sniffing the air, and I'm like,
he's like,
yeah,
he's like the fucking Rock or something.
Yeah,
like he's smelling what Mike's cooking.
Yeah,
for sure.
Smelling what Reggie's selling.
Yeah, he's picking up what he's throwing down.
Yeah. This analogy continues.
Yeah, and then it's just like, and then Mike's like fucking freaked out for good fucking reason. That dude's fucking scary.
Yeah.
Like, and then it just these cuts are just insane because then it just boom cuts right to the fucking bar. These edits are just crazy, and I don't know.
Oh yeah, this is the girl with the exaggerated overbite.
Yeah. This is what they call her in the movie, or in at least in the cast list, they call her the Lady in Lavender.
Yes, the Lady in Lavender.
Because
that's what I'm saying. She didn't have a name.
No, they never, because it's the tall man.
Yeah,
it's just him disguised as this woman. You know.
Yeah, she's just a bait.
Yeah, Lauren. Well, I mean, he is her. Yeah, and he's just luring all these fucking horny dudes to go fuck her in the cemetery. I guess.
Y'all never done that before?
No. If somebody said you want to go fuck in the cemetery, I'm like, no.
Was it something that you actively go like, hey, let's go to the cemetery and fuck? But it just happens to be like, hey, we're near this cemetery and the mood strikes. Like,
no, not in a cemetery. No, that's fucking weird.
Actually, no.
Okay, I'm the weird one.
Yeah, that's fucking. I'm sorry, that's fucking weird. Like, there's around dead. Like, there's dead people there.
Like 6 feet down.
I don't give a fuck. They're 6 feet too close.
They're like think about every piece of land on Earth.
Yeah.
Someone has probably died there.
Yeah, but I know for a fact that somebody's dead down there.
Yeah.
In here, there might be a dead person, but I don't know for sure. In there, like at a cemetery, there's definitely a dead person.
Don't go look under my bed.
There's definitely a fucking dead person here.
There is no dead bodies under my bed. I know better than to hide them under my bed.
All right.
But no,
I'll take that as a confession.
That's fucking weird. And no, she obviously said, "Hey, let's go fuck in the cemetery."
Well, I think
if she took me to the cemetery, I'd be like, "What the fuck are we doing here?" And then if she said, "We're gonna bang here," I'm like, "I got a house."
Now, Shane, did you find it weird that so he just got into the bar, and then he sat down next to her. They talked for maybe 30 seconds. Got up, went to the fucking cemetery, start fucking.
Well, I mean, we don't know how long it was really.
There's these things out there. They're called whores.
That's true.
That
is.
It's just like, dude got it going.
But, but if that's the case, quick. I'm paying. We're not going to a cemetery. We're going where I want.
But listen. Right? Let's think about this for a second. Jody he's a hot piece of ass. So we got to see man ass in this.
Oh yeah.
Like full fruit basket.
No pimples.
No pimples. A little bit of hair. It's fine.
Good.
Yeah, it was all right. Kind of pale. Needs to tan a little bit.
Not gay. We're not gay.
Not gay at all. But here's the thing. Like, he's a good looking guy, so maybe she just walked in and been like, this is what I've been waiting for. Somebody who knows how to fuck.
I just feel like the tall man does not have, like, what does he even...
No, I'm thinking about from Jody's perspective.
Yeah, but what does he even say is this woman?
Wanna fuck?
Like, that's what... Yeah, and I'd be like, no.
In that voice. Wanna fuck?
Yeah, and I'd be like, nope, I sure don't.
Yeah, especially in the cemetery.
Not sounding like that.
Why you got that weird dagger?
It's like,
put that away.
I got a car.
Yeah.
I'm not into that shit.
We can go... I got a sweet car.
You got a sweet car. It's got a small back seat, though.
That's fine.
We did determine it's a 71 Plymouth Barracuda. It's got a small back seat. Got expansive, like, front seats.
Yeah, it's a front seat. That's where it's at. Yeah. Just in the passenger side.
Where there's no... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. And then Mike is fucking... Of course, he follows Jody to the fucking bar and is leering at him. And then he follows Jody and
the lady
out to the cemetery. And
has to see his own brother's man ass.
He did see his own brother's man ass. Then he starts fucking hearing shit, which is the little Jawas.
I'm actually really glad the Jaw was interrupted, because I don't want to think about Mike watching his own brother fuck a girl in the cemetery. Thank God for the Jawas, right?
There are some funny fucking cuts where, like, she takes off her top and Jody's like, holy shit, and then he goes to the mic, holy shit.
Yeah.
So there's just some funny fucking cuts in this in this sequence. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, you can definitely...
Yeah, but he stops... We all know what was going to happen. They were going to kill... he was going to kill Jody.
Yeah.
So Mike thankfully stops him, and fucking Jody's like, dude, you totally cockblocked me there. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? It's like, I just saved your fucking life, bro. And he's like, because you can hear the fucking the dwarves, the Jawas fucking
growling
around, growling and shit. And he's like, you hear that shit? And he's like,
Probably just a rabid beaver.
yeah, that's what he said. It's a rabid beaver.
Just the only rabid beaver here is the girl you were trying to take to Pound Town in the cemetery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I think it's the next night. Mike's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. We also had that dream sequence with Mike where he's in bed basically, and it's a really cool fucking scene because it's like it's in his room, but it's like all dark except for the bed. And then it kind of zooms out.
And it's
the fucking tall man standing over his bed frame. It's fucking
Shane,
sweet.
did you have nightmares about that?
I did not.
Yeah. That's a fucking sweet scene though.
So
I will. I will.
Can you think of the last horror movie that honestly scared you? What was the last horror movie that you watched that scared you?
Well, when I was a kid, the scariest movie I watched was Tourist Trap.
Another really good one.
It is.
Yeah, I told Evan about it. He found it online one time. He goes, "Yeah, that movie's creepy as fuck." And I said, "Yeah, now imagine being like 7."
Yeah, Shane also watched horror movies at an inappropriate age, just like me and Evan did. So
But yeah, there's a so it does this like zoom out. You see the tall man standing over Mike in his bed, and then like 2 zombies fucking come up.
And this is his bed is now in the middle of a cemetery.
Oh, it's so fucking badass. But yeah, then the next night Mike goes to the mausoleum, and he performs a B&E.
Yeah.
He breaks and he enters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he don't get cut by the glass.
I'm doing a B&E tonight.
But yeah, he's good at breaking the glass. He got it all out.
Okay.
That's how it works, right?
You ever done a B&E?
I've done an E.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just say this. In Evan's younger years, he wasn't always a stand-up role model that he is today.
Yeah, I did an E. I didn't have to break. I had the key.
Yeah.
But
I didn't have the key.
That's a story for another day.
Yep. Anyway, we got several stories there.
Yeah. But yeah, and then Mike is kind of like snooping around, and he ends up in like, I don't know what, it's basically like the room where they have like the caskets on display in like a funeral home. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, it's a showroom.
Fuck it. Like they have at a car dealership. Where they have the cars and the spinny thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they call it the showroom.
Okay, cool.
That's really how it is.
Yeah.
In a mortuary.
They actually usually have
really
them on they'll have one down here and then they'll have like a special shelf that has one up here with it kind of tilted this way so you can see
the ones
the
I've seen at like funeral homes is they have like portions of the casket.
They do that too if they have a large selection.
And then they have like a little turnstile that you can look at all the caskets like you're looking for, I don't know, fucking greeting card or something like that.
Yeah, or you're at the vending machine looking for a sandwich.
Yeah, it's like do I want $100,000 or a nutrageous?
And you can actually go and plan your own funeral. It's called a pre-need.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fucking morbid, dude.
Yeah, pre-need.
That's insane. That's
and if you fucking die and people are just coming to like plan your funeral, it's called an at-need.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. What are you going to have happen to you when you die? What happens to Kendall when he dies?
I'm hoping that they will build a raft and they'll put me on it and shoot flaming arrows at it.
You're a fucking Tully?
You want a Viking funeral?
Yes.
Yeah. You want a Viking funeral? Evan, what's your funeral plans?
I don't have it.
What do you want to have? This is on record.
I don't know. Fucking wrap me in a plastic bag and throw me out of a plane. I don't care.
Fair.
How about this? Surprise me.
Shane, when you pass, what's going to happen to you?
I will have no idea because I will be dead.
Thank you.
What do you want?
I don't give a shit.
Don't fucking care.
So yeah, this is it. This is
what does it matter? I'll be dead.
Yeah. I don't really care.
Actually, so in my juvenile days, all of my teachers said I would be late to my own funeral. Mm-hmm. So in my funeral plans, and all of my family knows this,
you will be late.
So the funeral will start, the slideshow of all my pictures and all that shit. Mm-hmm. 5 minutes will pass, and everybody's like, "Where's Kendall at?" And someone's going to push me in 5 minutes late so I can be late to my own funeral.
It's
literally my own.
Sorry, scratch it. I have what I want to happen.
It's my only wish.
Okay, but here's a better plan. Okay, you have something afforded to you that not everybody has afforded to them. You have a twin.
Yeah, that's funny shit right
there. Yeah, you have a twin. So I say they should roll they can do it late, but they roll your casket in. Nobody knows where Kenton is. Bam! Pops out of the casket. What's up, bitches?
That's true. But that's only if, God forbid, I go, or God willing, I go before he does.
Well, but it works both ways. If he goes first, then you can do that for his.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
I'm just saying, you have an opportunity to do the funniest shit available that most people don't have.
No, I have a better idea. It just popped in my head, and it's what I really want. And if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna be really mad. So when I die, tell nobody. Let's just have a gathering, and then all of a sudden I come in. It could be you two or any combination of two people. Weekend at Bernie's me. Put sunglasses on me, carry me in like I'm.
Can I give you the smirk?
Yeah, yeah, every time, and just wheel me in and have a whole ass party with me just dancing around, having drinks and stuff like that, and then at the end, how surprised he's dead.
Yeah,
and then just drop him
on the floor.
That's what I want to happen.
All right.
We'll have to look into legality of that, but I'm down.
So weekend at Bernie's.
I will ask my wife. We can't wait to make that happen.
When you said late to your funeral, I was like, yeah, weekend at Bernie's. But yeah, and then Mike is in the showroom, and he fucking hears something, and so he hides in one of the caskets. And there's this weird fucking dude that comes in there. He's
I don't
so
know who
fucking
the fuck
strange.
This guy is.
He's so weird.
He's like the caretaker of the
fucking know, but he just walks in there.
Yeah.
And he's looking around, and Mike's like, please don't open the casket, please don't open the casket, please don't open the casket. And then the fucking tall man comes in there, and then they both just leave. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then so Mike gets out, and he's snooping around some more, and then he hears something, and we see the fucking sentinel ball for the first time. It's whizzing around the fucking hall. And then he gets fucking grabbed by the weird dude. Fucking, the dude's just like, he's like fucking Phil Hartman Frankenstein. And then fucking Mike just bites him.
Yeah, and I made a comment about the nothing beats the old 70s fake blood, horrible looking fake blood that they used to use.
Yeah, it makes me
me want strawberry jello.
Well, it makes me just think of every Dario Argento movie ever made.
Yeah.
And then as he's fighting with Mike, that sentinel ball goes right into that dude's fucking forehead.
Stabs him.
Yeah, it's got these blades that come out like on 3 points of the sentinel ball, and just goes right into his fucking head. Starts drilling him right through that fucking head like the tunneler and Puppet Master. And then there's fucking blood just comes pouring out of that fucking ball. Just like a fucking like a fucking broken pipe or something like that.
It's like when I go to pee.
Yeah, it's
it's like when I go to pee, and then you're just anyway.
It's like a whole ass blood transfusion.
Speaking of pee, the guy pisses himself,
which is apparently what was needed for the X rating, which is so dumb.
That's why it happened.
Sometimes when you die, you pee yourself. Yeah. Sometimes you shit yourself. Most times you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when a body dies. Everything that was in there,
all the muscles relax.
Yeah, so they all leave. Yeah. That's fucking gross. And then fucking the tall man starts chasing after Mike. That dude's fucking quick.
Yeah.
For how big he is and shit, that dude can fucking move.
Well, he strides. He's got strides.
Yeah,
that's true.
But if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was chasing
giraffe.
That's true.
I mean, how fast would he run you down?
Yeah, luckily Mike he zigs and he zags. But yeah, so he's chasing him, and he fucking goes down to this, I don't know, back to the basement or whatever of it. I don't know.
Sure.
And he shuts this door, fucking has like one of the little barricade things on it. And he's like, oh, thank God. And then you just hear, and it's just the fucking tall man's hand is stuck in the fucking, in the goddamn door. And Mike fucking takes a knife that he had grabbed. It was like a fucking, was like a Boooooy knife, buck knife, something like that. And he fucking chops off his fingers. Fucking this weird yellow. Yeah, and then so Mike very smartly just like says, fuck it, I'm grabbing one of these fingers because I need evidence.
Yeah.
Like fucking genius kid.
Yeah.
You know, not being like, oh, I'm scared. Like, fuck that, I'm grabbing one of these fingers.
Well, they're still wiggling around.
Yeah, well, but he's also like, fuck, nobody's going to believe me.
Yeah.
I have to take some type of evidence with me. And I love that he just sticks it in his pocket.
But the tall man gets even because he takes his shoe.
He does take his shoe. But yeah, and then he goes back home, and it cuts to the next day, and he's sleeping on the stairs with a shotgun. Like, because I would assume he's trying to be in a place where if anybody comes through, they're gonna fucking trip over him. Yeah,
and he's got the box sitting on one of the steps, and it's just
shaking around,
like
there's a bunch of Mexican jumping.
Because he was like, yeah, you were like, Kendall was like, that fucking box is moving, isn't it? I was like, yep, sure is.
Is that the finger?
He's like, that's the finger? I was like,
it's alive in there.
Yep, sure is. And then I love when he's like, I gotta show you this, Mike. And they go outside. He gives them the box. He's like, this is the evidence I need. And then he fucking opens it, looks in there, and he's like, all right then, that's a fucking finger.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about it?
Let's get the sheriff.
Yeah, let's go get the sheriff. And they go to get the box, and the box isn't moving anymore. And so Mike's like, God damn it. So he opens it, and then a fucking giant fly comes out.
This is the part of the movie that makes no fucking sense to me. Why did it turn into a giant fucking fly?
I don't fucking know.
I don't get it.
No.
I will say that Mike's acting here when he has the fly in his jacket.
Yeah, and he's like, and he's just super flailing himself against walls and down the stairs. There's like
parts where he has it flying up, and it looks like he's pantomiming it so well that it actually looks like there's something in the shirt.
Yeah.
It's real good.
He did a good job.
And then like him and Jody are fucking dicking around with it, just fucking flying all over the house, and then they finally shove that thing down the fucking garbage disposal, turn it on. They're like, oh, thank God. And then Reggie shows up. And he looks down and he's like, what the fuck is that? And then it flies out again and fucking
hits him in the face.
Hits him in the face. And they shove it down there again. And now Reggie's like, okay, whatever you guys want to do, I'm down. Like,
yeah, let's go
do something about this fucking guy. Oh, man.
This movie's so weird sometimes.
It's so fucking weird. Jody goes to the cemetery by himself and is chased away by the dwarves and then almost gets ran over by that fucking hearse that's nobody's driving. Mm-hmm. And then he fucking the vehicle is coming back and he thinks it's the hearse, but it ends up being his car. And he's like, who the fuck's driving my car? And we find out that it's Mike. He's come to rescue him. And then they get chased by the hearse, and they run the hearse off the road, and they go to check and see if like whoever's in it was alive or what the fuck's going on. They open up the hearse, and it's one of the dwarves, and it's been like fucking impaled by like a fucking like a piece of wood or something like that. And they take off the hood and figure out that it's his friend Tommy. And this is when we find out that the dwarves are all the corpses from the funeral home. Reggie and Jody, they're like, yeah, we got to figure out how the fuck we're gonna like get rid of this dude, kill him or whatever the fuck. And they hide Mike in like this antique shop with I can't remember what they were, Sally and Sue, mm-hmm. which they were like taking care of him and stuff like that. And then this is when Mike sees an old picture of the tall man from like fucking whenever, like it's
done in the sepia, it suggests that it was done in sometime in the 1800s.
Yeah. Like he's on a fucking carriage.
Yeah,
like
wearing a top hat.
Yeah, and it's
long ass time ago.
Long ass time ago.
Because
And it moves. The picture moves.
when Mike sees this photograph, he's like, fucking take me home now. I want to go home. And on the way there, they see Reggie's ice cream truck has been ran off the road. Mm-hmm. And he's like, all right, stop. And he goes to check it out. He sees Reggie's not in the truck, and then he looks in the back in like the freezer part, and there's like a fucking handprint with like the blood kind of coming out of the
yellow blood.
Yeah, it's the yellow blood. And then that I would assume the tall man took back the dwarf.
I would assume.
Yeah, I don't know what he does with the ones with those. Does he bring them back to life?
I mean, they were already dead to begin with, so...
That's true, yeah. I mean, maybe he just, like, resurrects them again. And then Mike's like, okay, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So he climbs back in the car, and these bitches won't go. They're just sitting there. He's like, fucking go. And then she's like, but there's somebody out here. It's like, yeah, I don't care. Go.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. And she opens the fucking car door, and the fucking...
Because who wouldn't do that?
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. And then so the Jawas jump on him. There's like 3 of them. And they're fucking... And then one of them like pushes Mike enough to where he goes through the back windshield, which doesn't make sense, but whatever. Yeah, and then Mike shows back up to the house and tells Jody, he's like, oh, Sally and Sue, they're dead, and Reggie's dead too.
Dead. Yep.
And then so Mike's like, I'm gonna go take care of this, and Mike's like, well, you're gonna go by yourself. That's fucking stupid. Mm-hmm. And then of course he locks Mike up in his room.
Yeah,
putting a screwdriver in the doorway, which doesn't work because the door opens in. Mm-hmm. It would work better if it opened outwards.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so Mike's pissed. He's like, and then he has like a shotgun shell.
Yeah, from when he had the shotgun.
Yeah, from when he had the shotgun, and he's like kind of looking at it, and he grabs a hammer, grabs a thumbtack, and figures out a way. He's like, well, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't know if it would work, but it's cool.
What kind of shotgun shell was that?
That's a high brass 4.
Yeah. Kendall looked at us like, you don't know what a high brass 4 is? And we're like, do we look like fucking hunters to you?
I was like, I'm not even sure that's English.
Yeah. I think there were some words you said there, but I don't know.
They were put together in a sentence, but I'm not for sure if I understood any of
it. And he's like, well, you know what buckshot is? And we're like, no.
I know what buckshot is.
Double-aught buckshot.
No, I didn't know what that is. I know what buckshot is. I mean, I've heard of it. Yeah, that's what...
You can only fit like 9 of them in a shotgun shell.
Cool story, nerd.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you said that, and I was just like, I will take your word for it.
Yeah.
I trust you.
You're not a nerd. I love you.
Yeah, nerd talking about his guns.
Yeah. Fucking nerd.
But he fucking blows like a hole through his fucking door. But as Mike is like leaving his room or whatever, and he's going to leave the house, there's that fucking asshole, fucking the tall man, fucking grabs him, throws him in the back of that fucking hearse.
I've been waiting for you.
I've been waiting for you. Yeah, he fucking like just picks him up by his collar like a fucking puppy.
Yeah, you've been bad.
Yeah, and just throws him in the fucking back of the hearse, and of course Mike grabbed a fucking gun. And so he's driving away with them, and he just fucking bam, just fucking shoots out the back of the back window and fucking fucks off.
Well, he shoots the tire too.
Yeah, he shoots the tire.
The wheel well.
Yeah, that's right, because that's when the car drives into like the telephone pole or a tree or whatever, and fucking blows up or sets on fire at least. And then Jody went to the mausoleum while this is happening, and he's kind of looking around for the tall man, and he happens upon his dad's like coffin.
Yeah.
And he opens it up, and he has his eyes closed, and he can't look. So
he's afraid his dad's not there.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I can't do it. So he just closes it and just leaves. And Mike shows up to the mausoleum, and he looks in the coffin, and there's no body in there. So obviously we know what happened to his body.
Yeah.
That's such like a shitty thing about that movie. I'm like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, as if losing your parents isn't enough. Now they literally lose.
Yeah,
my dad.
He's just a fucking slave. He's just like one of the nameless fucking Jawas.
Jawas.
Fucking that sucks, dude. You know, like
for sure.
You know. Mike is getting chased by the sphere in like the corridor or the mausoleum and stuff like that. And right before it's about to fucking drill him in the fucking head, Jody shows up and fucking blows that fucker out of the sky. Just like, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit before that, but he was playing a lot of Duck Hunt.
Yeah, it was a hell of a shot. Yeah. I mean, that thing's coming pretty quickly.
Oh, dude.
Just, you know,
fuck.
He did some skeet shooting in his life.
I used to play Duck Hunt so much that I broke the gun.
My
Damn.
gun never worked.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was always so unresponsive.
And it was, and you'd be like right up against the TV trying to do it, and it's still shooting like way over here. Like the optics on it was just always terrible.
Fucking dog.
That fucking.
I fucking hate that dog.
Do you know how many times I tried shooting that fucking dog when he popped up?
No, he would piss me off so much. Like, fuck this, I'm just playing Skeet. Yeah, like, and so I would just go like, nope, we're doing Skeet. I don't want to see that. If I see that fucking dog one more time, I'm gonna lose it.
That's what the dog's his bark sounded like.
Yeah.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, and then Reggie shows up like a fucking boss.
Like a fucking G.
He's like, oh, he's here, yay! And then he's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, and then the two girls, he's like, oh yeah, they were here, but I let them out, and they ran into the woods and ran so far away, like a flock of seagulls.
That's cute, Evan.
It is cute. Yeah, and then this is when they enter the White Room.
Yeah.
And this is when we kind of really start to understand the scope of this whole fucking thing. Because there's like this room, and it's like got this weird fucking noises going throughout the entire room. It actually was like, I was like, that's kind of fucking with my ears. Like it was just because it was just a whirring, just constant. And we see all these barrels.
A lot of the things in this movie were meant to make the audience feel uneasy.
Yeah, it was very disorienting. Yeah, it's like, and then we see all these barrels that are just stacked up along the wall. And Mike kind of looks into one, and he's like, "Oh, it's one of the dwarves."
The Jawas.
Well, they're called dwarves.
I know,
but yeah, they're Jawas. We've established that we're calling them Jawas. We're going to call them Jawas for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
yeah, that's fair. And then at the end of this room, there's these two beams. It's kind of neat. Well, when Reggie kind of understands what it is.
Yeah,
which I thought was pretty fucking cool. But Mike, he goes up to the beams and he kind of just like puts his hand through, and his hand just disappears. Which I actually thought the effects here weren't terrible.
Yeah, it's just done with mirrors. But
yeah,
still.
I thought it was pretty neat looking. I thought it was nice. Could have looked really bad.
Yeah, it could have.
But they kept it simple.
Yep.
And it fucking worked. And then he fucking goes through the whole fucking thing and he's like floating up in the air, and he's on like this on like a completely different planet. In a completely, we think, dimension.
I think that's what they were implying.
Yeah, and then he sees basically a line of the Jawas carrying these barrels, and so Jody grabs him by his belt and like pulls him back in, and he's like smoking because it's just like fucking just heat, like crazy heat on this planet or dimension or whatever, and he's kind of being like, oh, they're slaves. He's like, that's what he's doing. He's using these guys as slaves.
Yeah.
And that's why they're short is because of the gravity. He like crushes them down.
Which is so weird.
Just thinking about that, it's like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon or something like that. It's fucking weird.
There's a lot of gravity on this planet. How are we going to solve it? Well, I'm going to make you very small.
Yeah. And then Mike and Jody are kind of like leaving the room or whatever, but Reggie stays back, and he kind of approaches the beams, and he's like, "Oh, that's what these are," because they kind of cut back to a scene when he was playing his guitar, and he was tuning his guitar, and he was using a tuning fork, and so he puts his hands on top of the forks, and then everything goes fucking crazy. Like it just starts sucking everything off. I mean, everything's getting sucked in there.
Like my Saturday nights.
Yeah, and Reggie and Reggie like barely makes it out of the room before he gets sucked into it. He's like deep inside.
We've reached the innuendo part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Deep inside those forks. You know what I mean?
He's getting forked.
Yeah. He's in my red planet.
Is he being sucked off by a snake?
Yeah, and then like kind of like in the ensuing like kind of chaos or whatever, stuff like that, Reggie gets stabbed by the lady in lavender, which we know who it is. It's that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And he reveals...
We knew that from the beginning.
Yeah, and he's like kind of, he's like bleeding like a motherfucker. And so we're kind of like left until the end. We're kind of like, did Reggie die or what happened? Because then we get kind of like the end sequence of this movie, sort of, because we get like Mike. Well, we find out that Mike and Jody have come up with a plan to do something with the tall man. Mm-hmm. It's basically like Mike's gonna go. They're gonna go home thinking they defeated him, and the tall man is gonna show up, which is the first time we get to hear "boy." Mm-hmm. Because he's like that fucking shot where he's like down the hallway. Yep. And he just says, he's boy, and then he fucking, he tries to grab Mike. Mike starts running, and of course he's running after him. They're doing that fucking weird shit where he's like gliding, and it's just the coolest, man. Like fucking Mike gets stuck in some mud and stuff like that, and like hands are grabbing him, and he's like sinking in quicksand and stuff like that. And then we kind of get it spelled out for us what's going to happen because there's like a danger.
Open mine shaft.
Open mine shaft. It's like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And Mike does the he's chasing after him. Mike jumps over where the mine shaft is,
yeah.
And of course the tall man doesn't know it's there, so he fucking falls in. He's like grabbing onto Mike's leg, and then Mike finally just fucking kicks him off and he falls down. And then all of a sudden, all these rocks come from out of nowhere, and they land exactly where they need to land.
Exactly where they need to land. And
There's literally a boulder.
Yeah.
How the fuck did Jody get that down the hill?
All I know is that Jody must have been a hell of a skee-ball player.
Dude,
yeah, no shit.
He was getting hundreds all day, bro.
Yeah.
and then basically, like, Jody and Mike are kind of like sighing, but they're like it's not gonna hold him forever. You know what I mean? And then, like, it cuts to, it almost seems like it's the same night.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's Reggie and Mike.
It's Reggie and Mike.
Sitting in front of a cozy fire.
Yeah, and then Mike's kind of, like, freaking out. He's like, oh, it's not going to hold him forever. It's not going to hold him forever. We got to do something about this and stuff like that. And Reggie's basically like,
it's just a bad dream.
It's just a bad dream. There's no tall man. There's none of this stuff or whatever. He's like, I know it's been a week. It's been a week since the funeral. Since the funeral, and then we find out that basically Jody died in a car crash.
Yeah. So it just makes you go,
what?
What the fuck happened?
And so we're led to believe that this is like a dream, or this is like him dealing with the grief of losing his brother, and like all of the stuff. Like you kind of start to understand, like, if this is a dream, why he was projecting all this stuff with his brother that way. Mm-hmm. Because he was trying to deal with losing his brother, the only thing he had left, and like Reggie basically tells him is like, look, I know, I'm here to take care of you. I know if you're not, I know I'm not your brother, but I'll do my best. And he's basically like, well, why don't we, maybe you just need to change the scenery.
Let's get out of town.
Let's get out of town. Let's go out of town for a couple of weeks. And basically Mike's like,
road trip.
Yeah. And he's like, where are we going to go? He's like,
we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out when we get there. And he goes to the pack, and then there's this, like, Reggie's playing the guitar, but the score is playing
over it, which I thought was really awkward.
It's a weird sequence. And then so Mike's going up to his room, and he shuts the door with the mirror, and there's the tall man.
Boy.
And then fucking glass breaks.
Zombie hands
pulls him in. Credits.
Yep. And I look over at Kendall, and he goes, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
What a banger ending. I fucking love it. God, that movie rules, dude.
What was that?
Still don't get it.
Yeah, it's
okay. So I feel like the movie is up for it's really kind of one of those movies that's up for interpretation. it could be viewed as like somebody processing grief throughout the whole thing. Like this could also be Mike's complete hallucination.
This movie wasn't made to have a sequel. This was supposed to be a singular film.
No, but it did so well. I mean, that's the thing is like...
Well, it did so well that it got a sequel 9 years later.
Well, we were just talking about like VHS rentals and stuff like that or whatever. The VHS thing when it first started, of course, they had the battle between them and Betamax. Nobody knew which one's going to win, but VHS became the popular. But when VHS first came out, I remember you could rent them, but you could buy them if you wanted to spend $140 to $150 for one VHS tape.
Yep.
No,
That's
shit.
how much. So if you went to the store and seen like Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, you were going to pay $150 for a fucking VHS tape.
That's why people rented movies.
Yeah.
And that's why people recorded renting movies.
And to go back to the whether or not VHS or Betamax is going to win, we have to go and talk about Jay Baruchel's character from Tropic Thunder when he was having the discussion, the incidental discussion about PlayStation 5 versus Xbox, because you have to figure out which one the porn industry is going to back. Porn went to VHS, not to Beta. That's why VHS won.
Yep.
That's no shit. That actually happened. That's why.
Yeah,
because it was cheaper to record on VHS, so porn studios recorded on VHS.
It's the same thing with Laserdiscs and
same thing with Laserdisc. Yeah. Like it's cheaper.
That's why it won.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Blu-ray and whatever the other fucking thing.
HD
DVD.
Yeah.
HD DVD. Nobody bought.
Yeah, that's the exact analogy he was talking about, was that it was either going to be Blu-ray or if it was going to be HD, and porn went to Blu-ray. Like they were recording on Blu-ray, so HD kind of got pushed to the side. It's no shit. I know it's a really weird analogy, and it makes me sound like a. But if you go back and look at the statistics, like overwhelmingly the pornography industry recorded on VHS and Blu-ray and CD instead of the other mediums, and that's why those mediums took off and these died off.
Yep.
Did you learn something today?
So porn runs that shit. Really.
Well, it's because
porn influences it.
Well, it's because they're going to be the ones that are mass buying the things to record on those things.
Yeah.
They're going to because porn is so mass produced. That wherever they go, that's where the medium goes.
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, it's a funny joke, but also it's true.
Yeah,
wild.
Yeah, but yeah, that was Phantasm.
Yeah, it was.
It's a movie about like kind of dealing with grief.
Yeah,
like in a very fantastical way, but whether it was about him dealing in the up until the last 2 minutes of the movie, whether or not it was him dealing with the death of his parents or whether or not it was him dealing with the death of his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I'm this movie confused me.
Yeah.
I don't I can't say it didn't scare me. It's I didn't really see there's horror attributes to it, but it's not scary.
It's more of a fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah, it's just
it's a horror movie sort of, but
it's not really horror. It's really just kind of confusing. But I mean, it's a good time.
The characters are well done. Yeah. I mean, you really you get invested in the characters because I mean, Mike is a very likable character.
He's very likable.
Very likable.
He's very Mikey from Goonies.
Had a shock ending.
The Tall Man is a great villain.
Yep.
Tall Man's awesome.
I mean, he's
one of those low key, like everyone thinks of, they think of Jason, they think of Freddy, they think of Michael Myers, they think of Ghostface, they think of nobody puts any respect on the Tall Man. I mean, he's been in 5 movies.
Yeah, but
all played by the same guy.
He's so like indie.
So one of the I mean, we did start this off by saying this is the prog rock of horror movies, but one of the things that I think the Tall Man is supposed to embody in this movie is the physical representation of death.
Well, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
100%. He's the Grim Reaper if they made the Grim Reaper a person.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a man of few words. He doesn't say very much in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a few lines.
He has a focus, and that's it.
Yeah. He has this one singular focus, and that's that fucking kid for whatever reason. Whether or not that's, up until the last scene of this movie, whether or not that's something that Mike made up. It's basically him trying to escape death himself, and that's what I think they're trying to say in this movie is the fact that it's taken his entire family is something that he's trying. It's basically this thing that's going to be chasing him for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
until
it takes him.
And that he can never get away from. Yeah. And that's kind of what the embodiment is, where he's like the tall man is unkillable in that respect, because it's like, and you can take his dimension as being the afterlife. What he
hell.
Yeah, what he might think of what's left for him after he dies. Maybe that's what Mike thinks for himself, what his afterlife is going to be. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it too.
Yeah.
Who would you give your MVP to? I think everybody might have the same MVP. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
It's probably Mike.
Mike?
Yeah. Evan?
Oh, well, I'm going to biases. I'm going to give it to Reggie Bannister.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this side of the table is all going to Reggie.
Reggie's my guy.
Yeah,
Reggie's my guy.
Yeah, he's my favorite character in this entire series.
Reggie's my boy. You know why I like Reggie? Because any one of us could be Reggie. Scale 1 to 10, where you put it on your scarometer.
Scarometer. Oh, it's definitely like a 2.
2. Okay.
2.
On your brand new confusometer, where would you put it?
A 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the confusometer is not going to be a thing. It was just.
I love this movie. I think it fucking rules.
It's an acquired taste. It really is. I enjoy the movie. It has not stopped being weird for me. Like I have not seen it as much as Shane has, who's seen it 40 plus.
But I had a good time watching that movie. I think that movie is fucking awesome.
All right, where can we find you, Evan?
You can find me Smarky MFer on Twitter, and you can find me at Crit Happens 13 on Instagram. I think it's Smarky MFer on Blue Sky, but I don't really get on. Yeah. I don't get on it, so it's really not.
I get notifications on it, but other than that, I don't really hang out on it. Kendall, where can we find you?
I'm currently in your basement.
And that's where you're gonna stay, baby boy.
No, yeah,
I'm tied up weirdly.
When
are you gonna undo this?
Never.
Sometime? Okay.
I'll keep you all to myself.
All right. Get all crazy. We feed and water him. We muck the stables every now and again.
He'll be fine. He's got plenty of treats. I am Gallus Dracon on all the things. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, TikTok for the three or so days we may have it. You can also find the podcast on Blue Sky at Kendall Hates Horror.
Yeah, you can find us on X, Twitter at KHH Pod, and then Kendall Hates Horror on Instagram.
Yep. Parting words, Kendall. What do you got?
I love you all.
In honor of Phantasm, stay weird.
Stay weird.
Stay weird.
Stay
Shane?
weird, my friend. Yeah. Like I said, this was a movie that I watched when it actually came out, so it just holds a little bit more oomph for me. Is it my all-time favorite horror movie? Of course not, but I really loved it, and it's one of the 3 movies, like I said earlier, that got me started into really starting to watch horror, along with Motel Hell and Friday the 13th. So, which would lead to 1984, which will be my probably number 1 horror movie, which you haven't watched yet, Kendall, but we're getting there. So.
Yeah, it's coming up. Mm-hmm. Jamie's going to be here. It's going to be so fun.
I'm so excited.
And, I'll definitely be watching that with you guys.
Yeah.
So.
For my parting words, keep the flags at half staff. This is going to be coming out after the inauguration, but keep the flags at half staff. Fuck that guy. So we will join us next week. We're going to have another special episode with another special guest, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So whenever Tanner's in the room, shit gets weird.
Yeah, let's keep it. Let's make that episode lit AF.
It's so ableist.
Bay.
That's so ableist.
Bay?
Yeah.
That's ratchet. That's ratchet.
All right, come back and see us next week.
See ya.